Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Johanna Miller, Energy and Climate Program Director at the Vermont Natural Resources Council, and I am here today joined by Carolyn Wesley, the Chief of Staff to Senate President Pro Tem Becca Balint. And we are here with our Climate Dispatch with our weekly updates, Town Meeting Day week. It's been a big week. I hope you all participated to the degree you were able in your Town Meeting Day activities and the electoral democratic process. But it's great to be here with Carolyn. You probably well know Carolyn from her old days working at the Energy Action Network as the network program manager there. Carolyn has a really important, exciting new role as the Chief of Staff to the incredible climate champ and ally, Senator Balint. And the senator, these are really challenging times. I think Zoom democracy, we've talked a little bit about that. But the senator, as you know, has been a really important champion, as I just noted, of these issues. And in Carolyn's new role, we wanted to introduce her to you all to give you a little bit of an update from her seat, what's happening, what's on the Senate's landscape, what the senator might like to see happen. And then I'm just going to close it out with a couple of ideas for things that you can be doing to continue to make progress. So Carolyn, so nice to see you and to have you here, and so great to have you in that role. Tell us a little bit about what y'all are doing.
Well, thank you so much, Joey. It's great to join you all. And I know, part of the goal of the Climate Dispatch is to give people some insight into what is happening in the legislative process and some of the other policymaking processes outside of it, which is especially important this year because there isn't a physical state house that people can get into. And even when there is, not everyone can get there. And I think one thing I'm learning is my role as Chief of Staff is a role that probably isn't visible to a lot of Vermonters. Are trying to figure out what that means. And I've been figuring out as well. One of the things that a lot of my predecessors have shared, it's like being the traffic controller in your body of, helping bills and ideas move through, which is why they gave me this really cool headset so that I look the part. But, the timing of pretty much the end of my time as network manager with EAN and starting this role with Senator Balint fell right around the VCAN conference. And I was like a little bit wearing both hats that day, helping you all carry that off and supporting the senator when she spoke to, I imagine many of the folks who are watching today watched that as well. And I think she did such a good job framing and what I really admire working for her as a leader on climate issues about the sort of interplay of our climate challenges as well as our economic challenges, our class challenges, what we're facing in terms of the pandemic. And so I think that the pandemic continues to be front and center in the legislative session, not the least because we are still doing our work remotely. And I think one of the things she increasingly articulates to her colleagues, to chairs, to the public, to the press, is that it really does change the way the legislature does its work. It's much harder to have the kind of hard conversations, meaningful conversations that need to be had to move things forward. And so we're just all acknowledging that we're doing the work differently. There's new leadership, there's new staff, and there's a new way of doing work. And I think meaningful things are happening. But especially when it comes to things like climate, which are both so pressing and need action, but they're also the issues where we really need to roll up our sleeves and work hard across lines of difference. We have to find the right path forward. And so I think this year that looks like really relying and supporting the work of the Climate Council as they get stood up. And that's something that the Pro Tem is paying attention to and wants to, I've heard her and the speaker talk about thinking about the work of a Climate Council like a must-pass bill, and what is it that we need to do on our side to make sure that it's going forward. And there have been, I know that there have been appropriations requests about making sure that the Climate Council has the resources it needs. So we're trying to make sure that, that has the support. But then we're also looking at what are some of the things where in this situation where we have some one-time revenue as a result of the pandemic, the influx of federal stimulus, what are things that we can move forward that really make sense in this pandemic, economic crisis context. And certainly one of the things that we've been working about a lot is weatherization knowing that not only does that help us with our climate goals, it saves Vermonters money. There's also huge overlap in health, right? A lot of people who are not comfortable in their homes, are not heating their homes to stay comfortable, that is having health impacts. So there's a lot of overlap there, and trying to figure out the best way forward to both use the one-time money that we have to make investments that move us ahead, as well as be thinking about this longer term context, the work of the Climate Council, and how we're setting ourselves up for the future. So a lot going on. And, you know, then there are big questions about what the federal context means. And right now we're in the middle of hearing about this recovery package that's in the Senate right now. We've also heard from our federal delegation that ideally, when that's done, there's like a stimulus infrastructure package that would come next that might include a lot of the climate type stuff we'd like to see. And like everyone else, we in Vermont, we in the legislature don't know when that's coming, don't know exactly what it'll include, but are trying to be ready when that comes. So I think it's a difficult time to be doing the work. It's an exciting time to be doing the work. And I'm really grateful for this moment that is allowing for more interplay between conversations about economic justice, conversations about racial justice, conversations about climate justice and climate work. And I hope that we'll keep talking to one another, we'll keep doing our work, we'll potentially keep getting resources from the federal side that will allow really good things to happen.
Thank you, Carolyn. You shared so much there, and it's really important. And I really just appreciate the thoughtful approach you and your new role that you're taking, certainly what Senator Balint has long taken, and what you're doing in this moment in service of Vermont and Vermonters. Is clearly very trying times, but as you noted, there's a lot of interplay between these issues. There needs to be more coordination and strategic, approach to these issues. That is beginning to happen. I'm eager to see too, and working within the Climate Council to ensure that that is a successful endeavor. And so there's a lot happening, and I'm really appreciative of your time today, just to reintroduce you in your new role to this network of partners. And then also to say, we are very much going to look forward to bringing you back, or to the pro tem back, to give us ongoing updates, and we'll keep people abreast of all those different things that you mentioned that are moving. And we like to end these things with a call to action every single time. And I think one of the things I just want to share with you today is there's a really exciting film fest, the Climate Action Film Festival that SunCommon is hosting, with lots of different partners, that really sort of is looking at the interplay, as Carolyn just noted, of the sort of the pandemic, the economic injustice issues, the racial and social and climate justice issues, and then just our ongoing, like, urgent need to focus on reducing our pollution to ensure the planetary health of people and critters and everything. So the Climate Action Film Festival, I'm going to drop a link to it in the chat. You can continue to follow us every Friday. And I'm looking forward to keeping you in touch with Carolyn and the work of the Pro Tem and the work of the legislature. And really thank you for your time today, Carolyn, and everything you do for Vermont in your new role. And looking forward to staying in touch.
Thank you, Joey. And thanks to everyone out there for all the work you do. It really makes the work of policymakers a lot easier to have you leading on the front lines in your communities.
That's so true. It's a team effort. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you again, Carolyn.